Good afternoon and welcome from Sunetra Family Eye Care Center, Kolkata, for our weekly Facebook Live Patient Education Series. Today's episode number 38, is on managing your mental health during the pandemic. Just to give you an example, this is from the front page of today's Times of India Kolkata edition, full of depressing, anxiety creating, and negative news. The entire newspaper has hordes and loads of news about COVID, about death, about complications, oxygen, etc. This is from another page about the grief that has struck so many families with their losses they have had or are going to have or still having in their family related to COVID. The grief is real. The anxiety of students of not being able to go to school or to college or even to give exams, suicidal tendencies of patients, all this together needs to be addressed and needs to be taken care of in a positive way. And for that, we have with us today an expert from Melbourne, Australia, Dr. Sunil Datta, an eminent mental health physician, psychiatrist, so to say. He was my classmate in Vellore, and he also did his MD in psychiatry from Vellore itself, and thereafter did his fellowship from Australia and New Zealand. He has been the ex-director of Southwest Area Mental Health Service in Australia and is presently also the faculty of Melbourne University. Okay, at this point of time, I will probably go back to the live viewing and bring on in Dr. Sunil Datta. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Biswas. It's a pleasure to be on the Sunetra Family Eye Care Center channel. And hello to all the viewers who are watching live at this time, and hello to everyone else who may be watching a little later, going through the archives of the channel. I thank you for the beautiful newspaper clippings that you put up, actually portraying the real difficulty which India is going through. And first of all, before I start, my deepest condolences to anyone who may be looking at the channel and who has had a loss of a family member or a close friend that might have happened because of this unfortunate series of events that the whole world is going through, but India is going through a little more than the rest of the world. So my deepest condolences to all of you, and I hope you are able to cope with this difficult situation. I'm going to be sharing as much as I can the information that might help you cope with this difficult time. It will be much more useful if all of you who are watching can type your questions through to Dr. Biswas, and Dr. Biswas can ask them for you. Or if I will be able to see them, I'm not sure.
You can also see the comment section on the right upper corner.
Okay, I look forward to as many comments as possible, because the more that there are, the more personalized this presentation will be for you, and the more that will be more relevant to the audience. So please feel free to fire away. If I don't do anything but just answer a few questions that are relevant to you for your day-to-day life, I will feel that this presentation has been useful for you.
Absolutely.
So please feel free to fire away those questions and make use of me as much as possible today when we are there together in this forum. That would make this presentation so useful. I will start with the fear I will start with what is the problem, the mental health problem with COVID. But we will deviate here and there. One of the big problems with COVID, of course, is that you get infected, you get unwell, you may have to go to hospital, you may have to go through the scary time in the hospital, you may even die. That happens to a small percentage of people with COVID. However, many more people go through the fear and uncertainty with COVID, particularly close family members and other people. और क्या डर रहता है? What is the main fear? आप लोगों को सबसे ज्यादा डर क्या किस बात का होगा? मैं बीमार हो जाऊंगा. I will get the virus. One. Will I spread it to others? मुझे को बुआ जी क्या बोलेंगी? अगर मैंने बुआ जी को दे दिया वायरस तो वो क्या बताएंगी? मेरी सोसाइटी में मेरा नाम खराब हो जाएगा if I have spread the virus to others. So one fear is that you will get the virus. One fear is you will get the virus and spread it to others. और मेरा नाम खराब हो जाएगा. Second thing, when will all this end? ये कब खत्म क्या होगा? And खत्म, the third thing is खत्म होने के बाद क्या होगा? What will happen even after that? Will someone be left maimed? Will someone be left paralyzed? Will someone try and commit suicide like that medical student was trying to do from wherever he was? So काफी डर तो बहुत रहता है. And डर तो रहेगा ही रहेगा. And Dr. Biswas, do you want to say anything about the fear?
No, these are the main fears. I think, on the one hand, people have the fear of getting infected. At the same time, we also have the fear of not receiving adequate treatment or say oxygen or a bed in the hospital.
Yes.
However, at the same time, many of these people follow the preventive steps or steps they are supposed to follow, like wearing masks or maintaining physical distance and things like that. They are going out freely without wearing masks. That is the other side of the story. However, today we are dealing with only the fear aspect, the fear of getting infected, fear of spreading it to others, fear of not being able to receive adequate medical care, fear of not getting a hospital bed, fear of not getting oxygen, fear of not getting an ICU care, fear of not getting medicines, fear of getting fake medicines, as is happening in India today.
No.
Lot of things.
Beautiful.
The fear. Yes, you're right.
And I think so rightly pointed out. And that very smoothly leads me to the next part of my talk, which is this fear leads to what the government is trying to implement and what we are also trying to implement is a loss of basically personal freedom. We have lost a lot of personal freedom because fear is paralytic and there's a reality about it. But the actual fact is that we are not as free as we were. We are restricted not because we are in jail, but because we are in jail at home because of the coronavirus. Now, how are we tackling this? And this, Dr. Biswas pointed out a very, very important thing. The first and most important reaction that has happened is a sense of denial. You do not obey the rules. You break the rules. You use a defense mechanism of denial. You try and just lead your life as if there is no coronavirus. You go out like normal. You go out without a mask. You go out and don't maintain any social distance. You are indulging in the defense mechanism of denial. Whatever you in your brain, we know कि क्या logical है, क्या करना चाहिए, what we should do, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए. But we use defense mechanism of denial and we deny what we should be doing. So that is one really important thing.
Yeah, if I may interrupt, a comment from one of our viewers, Mr. Das. He has written about isolation of being alone, being shunned by others a person comes out from isolation, which may lead to suicide. So that's just a point.
Very good. Very good. And another point made by Dr. Das, who's a very senior doctor as well, is the stigma of being shunned by others, which I actually didn't touch upon, which he has touched upon, is so important that if you so much as have a coronavirus, ki usko to lag gayi hai, usko coronavirus ho gaya, some kind of, you get a new name in the community, that you've been someone who has had coronavirus.
Correct.
So moving on from denial, so why I'm raising this is because this loss of personal freedom is like grief. It is like a death of freedom. Even though it may be temporary, it's been lasting quite a while. And so denial is what we use. The second defense mechanism we use is numbness. And some people use numbness. There may be people dying around them. There may be lots of feelings going around them. They don't allow themselves to feel anything. They just become like a rock, almost like numb, working on automatic pilot. And that has some protective consequences, but that has some bad consequences as well, because it doesn't allow you to appreciate others' distress in some ways. And we have a lot of distressed people around us. That is the second defense mechanism. The third one is anger. You get a lot of anger. Modi ne kyun nahi kiya? Modi is the cause of all these problems. Yeah, someone else is the cause of all these problems. Government ने कुछ करना चाहिए. ये कोरोना वायरस का कारण है, government ने ये नहीं किया. Some anger at somebody who should have done something or should not have done something. So anger is an important consequence, because एक बारी anger आ जाता है, it invokes it invokes a kind of response from you, which can actually invoke the same response from the other person as well. There's a bit of anger that goes. Grief is always there, and sadness, and that is what I alluded to right in the beginning. Some of us have actually lost people. Some of us who have not lost people have lost friends, or are maybe going to lose friends. So we are going to go through sadness. And resolution is far away because it's still going on. And so acceptance will be quite difficult, because still people are falling ill, still people are actually going to hospital. All around you, there is death and destruction happening. So it's very difficult to follow the acceptance. So I mentioned these stages of grief, but they don't necessarily follow one after the other. You can have anger before denial. You can have numbness after denial or before denial. You can have sadness before or after. One round of this, that was the second point that I actually wanted to raise, was this grief. So Dr. Biswas, do you want to say anything? Otherwise, we'll move on to my next point.
No, please.
Now, complicating grief is some practical things. Many of us have lost our jobs, or if we still have our jobs, we are working much less than before, or we are working from home and not getting paid as much as we were before. So there is some practical, actually, apart from the emotional side of things, there's a practical loss of money, loss of job that we have had. There will be some difficulties in those who are traveling interstate or those who are traveling internationally. They are stuck, basically stuck wherever they are, because there's a lot of travel restrictions. शायद आप गांव जाते होगे पेरेंट्स को देखने के लिए, नहीं जा सकते हो. शायद आप कहीं और जाते थे, can't go anywhere. Children can't visit their parents. People have been stuck in cities for a long time. People have been stuck in apartments for a long time.
We have a friend in Australia whose parents in Chennai passed away.
See, what can be, you cannot bid farewell to your relatives, your father, your parent in the time. This is the time when you want to be there with your family, be supported by your family. And it's a loss, personal loss for him not to be able to say goodbye. and a personal loss for the family members not to be able to rely on his shoulder as well at this difficult time. This is the true sadness of this infection. Okay. I will come to my third point. Many times we are stuck at home with a few people. Now that can be a pleasure if the two of you get along like a house on fire. But more often than not, there's a bit of conflict that comes with being stuck at home with people. And we have a concept in psychiatry called high emotional expression. When people are stuck at home or by nature of their own, some people are quite emotional, some people are quite withdrawn. And if you're highly emotional, you can project out those emotions. And being stuck at home can lead to this high emotionality among relatives with more arguments. Chote baat pe you can start to have arguments about, which you were not having arguments about earlier because you were away from each other. आप काम पे निकल जाते थे, शाम को मिलते थे, then have a good time, और morning में मिलते थे, have a good time. अब 24 घंटे घर पे हो, fighting with each other. And so quite stuck over there. Associated with that is that पहले तो आप ऑफिस जाते थे, ऑफिस में आप रास्ते में गाड़ी में फ्रेंड को फोन कर सकते थे, then you reach the office, you talk to some other people, and then you come home. On the way back you speak to other people, and then finally you come home and you mix with your spouse or your close relatives. अब सारे दिन साथ में हो. There's a bit of loss of privacy, loss of personal freedom. जो आप अकेले में करते थे, maybe you can do a little bit at home, but you are slightly restricted from what you were able to do at home. So there's a kind of personal restriction on freedom. Yes, you may have personals in your social media, you may have a bit of freedom, but still certain more restriction being stuck at home. And then the last point about being stuck at home is that we are social human beings. Say you have a birthday, you want to call 20 friends, you want to go out with them somewhere, and you want to celebrate the day with a group of people that you have spent significant amount of your life. Your birthdays, anniversary, then various other events that might happen, children's birthdays, get-togethers, things like that, which you now have to spend in relative isolation. कई लोग कर भी रहे हैं, कई लोग नहीं भी कर रहे हैं, but at least there is some restriction in comparison to what it was earlier. And that is like a loss. And Dr. Biswas, I could not hear your sound. Can you hear me?
हमने कहा कि Zoom मीटिंग्स होते हैं, Zoom पे बर्थडे पार्टीज होते हैं, शादियां भी Zoom में.
And keep in mind, Zoom is a two-dimensional space. आप ऐसे और ऐसे देख रहे हो. We are three-dimensional human beings. हम लोगों को 3 डायमेंशन में मिलना है, हग करना है, हाथ मिलाना है. We need to be like that. We are programmed. Our brains are programmed to be 3-dimensional human beings. अब 2 डायमेंशन में थोड़ा सा तो मिल जाएगा. It is better than 1 dimension, which is just of the form, but it is not as good as 3 dimensions. So we are losing out a little bit on that, even though we are making up. Okay, I'm mindful of the time. So what can we do? Practical strategies क्या है? इसमें these are the 3 problems that I've mentioned. One is a fear, one is the grief of loss of personal freedom, one is the irritability of being stuck together, the practical things of loss of job, the actual practical things of being stuck with each other. But what can we actually do? We are all in this situation together. कर भी क्या सकते हैं? What can we do? And one thing which Dr. Biswas quite clearly pointed out is do not look at unreliable information from various unaccredited sources. एक तो actual news चल रही है and एक parallel scaremongering news भी चल रही है. Every time you see one normal article, you see about 10 articles which are scaremongering and giving some false information, either for the positive or for negative, कि ये cure हो जाएगा, you can use this will help you, or this will kill you, something or the other. So please be mindful of, because we are not able to meet each other. We are not able to peer review much of this information. So we are relying on social media. Please be careful at what sources you are looking at the media. Second thing, there's a tendency to become addicted to news channels. It's a very common thing that is happening in COVID, is many of us have become addicted to checking on COVID news 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day sometimes, 5 times a day. सुबह उठो क्या कोविड की खबर, शाम को क्या कोविड की खबर, दोपहर को क्या कोविड की खबर. We are following COVID like a continuous movie. We are addicted to the news, checking them almost all the time. एक बारी दो बारी ठीक है, but we can easily get sucked into an addiction of the news, particularly relating to COVID and deaths and things like that. Then, so each this, please be on the lookout for this. Focusing on the here and now is also important. Many times, because of what we hear, we start to imagine what will happen tomorrow or day after, forgetting there is a beautiful meal that your wife might have cooked for you, or forgetting that there is something very pleasurable in the cup of tea that you might be having. And we forget that completely. We focus on the future and the fear. It is okay to be kind to yourself. We don't have to be so society minded or fearful because the rest of the society is there. You can do things for yourself as well. It is good to have a regular routine at home. It is very good to have a regular routine. It's very good to, I'm going to come to that in a minute. And it's good to be able to develop some group activities. Now, before I go into more practical suggestions, I started thinking, ye jo abhi what we are all going through, who are the people who might have been through similar situations in the past? And when we look at the past, we can see that there are some astronauts that leave the Earth and go on the space station for 2 to 3 months at a time. So they have to spend time in relative isolation. Sometimes they are with the company of 2 or 3 people. Sometimes they are relatively quite alone. That is one group of people who have spent time in isolation, quite similar to those of us who are isolated in COVID. The other group of people that spend time in isolation quite commonly are submariners. The submarine goes underwater for a while, the nuclear submarine, and remains underwater for 2-3 months till it comes back to base for when they go for their long trips. So we looked at some kind of advice that took some advice from these people. So the 3 space people that were spoken to were Peggy, John, and Chris. These are all 3 American space people, and to give little hints of advice as how would you advise people to cope with loneliness and isolation. So Peggy, who was the first woman, one of the women from space from America, she said, learn to make the best of things that are available to you. Have a sense of purpose. So she tried to give herself a sense of purpose every day. She said, today I'm going to do this cooking book. Next day I'm going to do some stitching exercise. She gave herself a little sense of purpose, and so that she kept herself busy like that. The male astronaut John told every day what he insisted, you don't have to shower in space, but he made himself shower, put on a fresh set of clothes every day, and tried to improve his relationship with his loved ones at home by ringing them or telling them something nice, and tried to do one activity that he loved every day. That was John. Chris was the other one who was the third one who said, in addition to all this, do something different. Don't do the same thing every day, but try and have something different in your routine as well, so that you get some interest happening. And he actually pointed out that only listen to authentic news, because then you get a lot of coverage about scary news in space as well. And Scott, the submariner, said almost the same thing. Have a schedule, pace yourself, but most of all, take time to contact your friends. Now, I'm not sure. Dr. Biswas, do you think people are doing this? Half doing it?
Well, say if I talk about myself and our own group of friends, we do try to. I do not know whether everybody else is trying to do the same or not. For the time being, Dr. Sunil, I'm muting your mic because there seems to be some echo. Yeah, so when you talk, I'll again unmute, or you can unmute yourself. For some unknown reason, there is some echo today when two mics are on. So the points that are pointed out by you, the remedial points, are all excellent by the astronauts and the submariners. And 2 to 3 months is one of our short trips by astronauts. Actually, many of the trips are much longer than that. And they, not only that, they are holed up in a very small container with hardly much space to move around. And the rooms are smaller than our house. And they spend their entire life in those containers. It's tough. Yes, very well said, Dr. Sunil.
And moving on to my next set of solutions. This is more a little slightly professional type approach. What are the specific psychological strategies that will be useful? Before I go there, Gautam Mitra has asked about how we tackle financial problems. Gautam, I'm sorry I'm not able to answer that at the moment because perhaps I'm not in a relevant position in Australia to be able to address that question at this stage. But please keep asking the questions and we'll keep trying to answer whatever we can. Coming to the specific psychological strategies, one is, of course, the approach of acceptance, which basically means focus. There are things which you can control. There are things which are out of your control. And to make the distinction is more difficult than you think. But it is true, there are many things which are out of your control. कल कितने कोरोना वायरस केस होंगे आपके कंट्रोल में बिल्कुल नहीं. Whether your neighbor will get it, whether your driver will get it, or whether somebody else will get it, is not in our control. So that's totally out of your control. What is in your control is how you react, how you behave, what you do today, what you do tomorrow. And so acceptance theory says that please focus on what you can control and leave alone what you can't control. The second specific psychological strategy is called mindfulness or prayer or spirituality, or you can call it anything you want, or just doing an activity that you love. But basically means is bringing your mind to where your hands are at the moment, or focusing on the current, just focusing on what you're doing in a peaceful way so that your mind is calm and rested. Well, if you can do that for a little period of time every day, the huge turmoil of thoughts that are rushing through your brain, the multiple thoughts of worries that are rushing through your brain, at least for those 10 minutes, will be slowed down. You can't, it's difficult to just do it unless you practice it on an ongoing basis. But particularly in this time, it will be useful. And the third approach is, of course, to open your mind to discuss your fears with others around you and don't hide it. So many times we have these fears inside us, but we feel embarrassed to discuss it. But it is a better idea to discuss with people around us because they don't carry that much of that fear and anxiety within you. So 3 strategies. Acceptance approach. There are things which I can control, things which I can't control. I can only responsible for things which I can control. Second one, mindfulness or meditation. Focusing your mind to the here and now, either prayer or meditation or doing an activity that you love. Third bit, communication. Communication with somebody that is you respect and can discuss with them. Now comes what is commonly called pyramid concept. I don't know if you have heard that. Just the pyramid concept. And that goes from the most practical suggestion. So with all this, do not go outside without some protection. Make sure that you do physical distancing. Do all the normal precautions. So then you do it yourself. First you do yourself. Then you advise others around you to do it. There's no point in you advising somebody, but you not doing it yourself. So there's kind of, and then you will be advising, if you are not able to give reasonable advice, please take the advice of someone who's more senior to you. And if you cannot get any help from there, then you will have to seek some professional help as well. And please don't be scared to do that. I think a lot of online forums have now come up, which have started to support people. And I'm sure that we have a lot of them here. And Dr. Biswas, do you have them in India as well?
Yes, there are plenty available, plenty of psychological support centers available who are working internationally. Yes, there are. Even in our city, Calcutta, there are.
Yeah, one of the lucky good things has been that there's a lot of telehealth. People have turned to telehealth, and there's a lot of telehealth type support. Agreed that it's still in the two-dimensional space, but some support is better than no support. I'm going to touch upon an area which I think has caused the problem, part of the problem in India, which might be controversial. So please feel free to put the questions through. But it's called emotional contagion. I'm not sure if you heard it. It's a common term used in epidemics and pandemics. It's a community health concept called emotional contagion. And uska matlab kya hai is that right at the beginning of an epidemic, we have panic. So right at the beginning of the epidemic, we go to panic. And then when the epidemic starts to go down, we go into a period of near indifference at the end. And this is what can be really dangerous in epidemics and pandemics. It's called the emotional contagion. And in my mind, this is what has happened in the world, is that initially the pandemic swept through. All of us were scared. Itna dar tha, hum log ne sab theek cheez kiya. And the infection rate throughout the world started to go down somehow or the other, even when there was no vaccine. Keep in mind, in the beginning, there was no vaccine. But the infectivity rate started to go down. The death rate went down before the vaccine. Vaccine aa gaya, and we all thought we've overcome the epidemic. And we went into a phase of indifference. Now people are dying like flies. Even though we have the vaccine, people are dying like flies all around us. The concept of emotional contagion, very commonly seen in epidemics over the years and pandemics over the years, and we are still seeing history repeat itself right now in front of our eyes. Concept of emotional contagion. Dr. Biswas, do you want to say anything about that?
Well, this is very so true what you said. So true. And I would agree with you that this is probably the country and why the hit us from the top leadership onwards to the common people. Everybody believed that COVID is gone, which is not the case.
And it's still, I think it is very important, still very, very, very risky. But unfortunately, because we have seen so much of death and destruction around us, we have become a little bit indifferent to that situation. Yeah. Now, with the digital resources, I have a big list of digital resources that are available here in Australia. But I don't have a list of digital resources which you can access easily in India, but I'm sure that there are. One thing good about the internet is that wherever the resource is in the world, you can access it from wherever you are. So if you cannot find any digital resource over there, then I will give you one or two hints of using the digital resources that are available over here, and they will be equally useful for you over there. One is called This Way Up courses. They are available digitally over here, free for you to use. They're an Australian website, but if you Google This Way Up, you will get This Way Up COVID, you will get some information. The second digital resource which is there is called Head to Health. Head to Health. Useful digital resource. There's third digital resource, Reach Out Breathe. It will teach you breathing exercises of how to be able to relax and take deep breaths slowly, let them out slowly. Fourth digital resource, Smiling Mind. Smiling Mind. It teaches you mindfulness. Fifth digital resource, Insight Timer Mindfulness. And guided meditation. This is the whole thing. There are a lot of digital resources. I'm 100% sure a lot of them are in India as well. There's another digital resource called My Compass by what is called the Black Dog Institute over here. And that also teaches you these. So there's a lot of digital resources which are present. Now, before I move on, 2 words of caution. I'm not sure whether this is going on in India, but I can be 100% sure that people don't talk about it. And that is, there has been a dramatic increase in Australia in domestic violence when we had the lockdowns. Not much came to light until later, but the domestic violence was husband versus wife, children versus parents, and it could have been verbal and physical, both sides. But there was a tremendous increase in domestic violence. I think the only way to tackle that is to try and develop a sense of mutual respect. It is very difficult, but we set up a channel called 1-800-RESPECT for domestic violence. And that was a resource, but that's not available to you because that was a phone resource over here. But I just thought I'd share this with you for those of you who may be listening now or listening later, that please be aware that there has been a global increase in domestic violence because of this restriction. If you have been subject to it, or if you have unfortunately subjected someone to it, please don't be hesitant. You can talk about it to somebody, take the help, and help is available. Now, I'm mindful that I've taken up 45 minutes of your time, but before I move on to the 2 slides that I've got, Dr. Biswas, is there any questions that you'd like to ask me?
No questions. I've been listening and I've been getting educated by you. You have brought up the points and remedial points very, very well. And I'm sure our listeners and viewers would benefit by them. My one suggestion is this resources, online resources that you talked about. If only we could show them to our viewers here. So what I'll do is, when we do show your slides now, after that we'll try to type out the names of those resources in the slides, so that everybody else can see them. We'll try.
Okay, we'll give it a go. Otherwise, I can send it to you later and you can attach it somehow or the other.
Yes, we can do that also. You want me to slides now?
No, wait a minute. But Dr. Das has raised 1 or 2 points that I want to touch upon. And one is about suicidal tendencies. I didn't talk about that in detail. Suicidal tendencies are particularly common. Actually, they were described by a Frenchman, Emile Durkheim, in 1800s as well, when he described suicidal tendencies. He described three types of social, meaning apart from our day-to-day mental illness, which leads to suicidal tendencies, there are three social factors that lead to suicide. And one of them is social isolation, because when we are connected to each other, we have less suicidal tendencies as a society. When we are alone, we have more. One is stigmatization, that is marginalization. So those of us who get an illness in which we are marginalized or sidelined by others, we have higher suicidal tendencies. And one is financial loss, health loss, or other losses of different kinds as a society. All these three are present in this illness. And so all these three social aspects of increase in suicidal tendencies will be there. I do not know whether it will be very difficult to get data because people are dying left and right now. But you can be sure that there's been a dramatic increase. In Australia, at least, we've seen a 4-fold increase in suicide during this. We have not had many coronavirus deaths, but we have seen a dramatic increase in suicides. So much so that the government has had to change the budget to allocate so many 280 million towards suicide prevention in this latest budget that was yesterday delivered because of this change that we have had over here. I'm fairly certain in India also it will be the case. I realize I've got only 10 minutes, so I'll move on to that first slide. Okay. So this, I don't know if everybody can see it or not. And this is slightly technical. But जो भी कोई, yes, fine. So whoever is looking at this slide, this is of course the human brain. And what I'm more specifically talking about is two parts of the brain. One, and both are in the deep areas of the brain, which one is called the hippocampus and one is called the amygdala. And why am I talking about these things? And the reason I'm talking about these things is because hippocampus is that area of the brain, yes, there he is, which records memories. What is the difference? Hippocampus or normal brain जो ऊपर वाला है, उसमें क्या फर्क है? Hippocampus has a 3-layered brain, whereas our normal brain is 6-layered. इसका फर्क क्या है? कि when memories are laid down in a 3-layered brain, they don't change. They remain as raw memories. When memories are laid down in the 6-layered brain, the brain modulates them. थोड़ा बहुत modulate करते हैं. And then why am I talking about this? Because all memories get recorded in hippocampus. Now, the second organ that I'm talking about is called the amygdala. This is that one. This job, the amygdala's job, is to tag the memories that go into the hippocampus. कि कौन सी happy memory है, कौन सी sad memory है, कौन सी traumatic memory है. So, for example, if you've had, as very recently because of this coronavirus, we've had so many traumatic memories that have been laid down, and the amygdala has been tagging them. ये भी trauma, ये भी trauma, ये भी trauma, ये भी trauma. You've had so much of trauma that has been tagged by the amygdala. The generalized level of fear and anxiety in the brain goes up because so many bad memories are now with us, which have been tagged as bad memories. So, in actual fact, there are some events which are sad by nature. There are some events which, if we only emotionally say they're tagged, they become bad. For example, it could be like, we don't know whether leprosy is bad or not until the society tells you that leprosy is a bad illness, usse dur rehna chahiye, ye hai, wo hai. And I remember I'm using this specifically because this has been taken as a lecture by Dr. Biswas and Dr. Das in this series. So that is a societal tagging of a bad memory. And similarly, if someone dies from heart attack, कोई problem नहीं. But if someone dies from corona, oh ho, वो तो बहुत ही बुरा हो गया. वो तो corona virus से मर गया. And tagged as a bad memory. Similarly, so many people die, but we were not they were traumatic memories, but not tagged. But now they are all being tagged as being very bad. So the generalized level of anxiety in all of us has probably increased because of the coronavirus. So that was my first slide, to just explain to you why we are more anxious than we were. And just a brief thing which I will say about my second slide, because I've taken up a lot of time. And this, if you look at what is written on the top, it's called the distress thermometer. It's the subjective units of distress. All of us perceive distress in different ways. हम लोगों को कई चीजों, and when we get worried more and more, we slowly go up the ladder in this one. Each of our distress is unique, but if each of our distress is perceived in this linear manner, हमको थोड़ा सा distress होता है, then it slowly goes up. Now you can see that the 0 is totally relaxed and 100 is the highest level of distress. So for example, when a close relative, like a parent or a wife will die, or a husband dies, we call it 100, which is the highest level of distress. And 0 is when we wake up in the morning and we are totally relaxed just before we have our first cup of tea. As we go up the ladder, we have this mild level of anxiety, and you can see that there are 2 gaps in this area. Between 30 and 50 is when I would encourage you all to look at yourself and see, am I getting this anxiety? Thoda sa anxiety ho raha hai. Let me do some corrective measures like breathing, relaxation strategy, distraction strategy, koi na koi, something to try and do it. And many times you're successful and you can stop the anxiety before it goes to 50. But sometimes you cannot. Sometimes because you keep reading newspaper articles, fikar ho raha hai, coronavirus mein, neighbor mein ho gaya hai, ye ho gaya hai, mere ko bahut zyada fikar ho raha hai, I can't stop my thinking. Then there's a second gap between 50 and 70. When it's between 50 and 70, please take the help of someone else. Either talk to somebody, go talk to your wife, go talk to somebody else, and they will help you to settle down a little bit, or they will ask you to take some professional help. If you go beyond 70, most of the time it's going to be traumatic for you and you'll be subjecting your brain to too much trauma. So please take the help before it becomes traumatic. Probably this is all that I want to give you, and I do not want to leave you with too much information overload. So just going over my points before I wind up. Coronavirus has led to a feeling of fear and uncertainty towards the future. Will I get the virus? Will I spread it to others? When will this end? What will the future be like? Second point, we've had so much of loss that we've had a grief of a loss of personal freedom. We use denial as a defense mechanism. We don't obey the rules. We are numb, so we don't get affected by others. We get angry, we curse others. There's sadness, and all this can be a mixture. There's practical problems, like Mr. Mitra said, loss of a job, loss of money, travel restrictions. We are stuck at home with relatives. Some of them we enjoy, some of them is very irritating for us. What can we do? Practical strategies. Do not look at useless information. Check reliable channels. Do not be addicted to news channels all the time. Take one day at a time. It's okay to be kind to yourself. Remember the astronauts. Remember the submariners. What else can we do professionally and psychologically? We can have an acceptance approach. Things we can control, things we can't control. Remember mindfulness and prayer. Remember to take help from others. Use a pyramid concept. Do what you can do, then take the help of others. Use some digital resources if you can. And with that, I just want to finish. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Dr. Sunil. That was very informative. And I must you. I've known you now for more than 4 decades, and I've always, the day we first met, I was seeing that bright smile on your face all the time, and I man,
Hopefully, all of us are smiling a little more. Let's hope. Hopefully, all of us are smiling a little more. And I can see there's one of Dr. Palokaran has also joined us on the site, and hopefully, I've been able to put a smile on that face as well.
yeah. Thank you very much for elucidating all the helpful points. I think you need to come back again and tell us more about staying healthy. I, for myself, can share that a couple of the things that I follow is that I don't watch TV news. I hardly read the newspaper. I select the positive news and read. I try to keep myself away from negative news. That is one thing I do. I exercise regularly and I eat healthy. So these are the things which help me to stay positive. I also like to pursue my hobbies of photography and music and things which I enjoy. So that keeps me alive and happy. And I try to keep myself busy at work.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is a practical. See, I knew Dr. Biswas is one step ahead of me. I'm theoretical and he's even practical, one step ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Is there anything else that we would like to add on? Or we have Dr. Christina also who has joined in and he has thanked you.
Yes, look, I'm so fortunate to have so many senior doctors on this forum, and look, my special hello to all of them. My special hello to all of them. So nice.
Nice. I just wanted to add a small point before we end that is not related to your managing the mental health. Is that a lot of people, my friends as well, keep on thanking me for these weekly programs of sharing this information or informative sessions on day-to-day living. But I must tell my viewers as well as all my friends that it is not just me at our center. We have a team working. Yes, I share ideas with my team, all right, but we have a team working, and I'd like to just show a couple of slides, which will a couple of pics maybe. Hang on. So we have a couple of backstage heroes in our team. All the brilliant posters that many of my friends have appreciated. They are cut, copied, pasted, and photoshopped by Mr. Imran at our office. And the person who lives with these sessions 24/7 and comes up with ideas, does all the background research, and helps me gather all the information and pictures and everything is Toshmita. And my thanks to them. And of course, we have our entire team of Sunetra behind these shows who support us. This is something I wanted to share. We have come a long way. 38 episode over.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful to meet the team. Please give my special thanks to all of them as well.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Sunil, for joining in and sharing your views. And I hope that you can come in once again because mental health is much more important than physical health. And
well, anytime. Look forward to the fellowship again. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.